Yep. All right, all right. So it is officially 7:45. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and pull this presentation up. Give me just 1 second. All right, can you guys see my screen? Perfect, perfect. And let me pull this over. All righty, let's go ahead and get started. I'm so excited to talk about mastering your time, repurposing your content, and beating burnout, because I know that is a major issue for a lot of content creators, speaking from personal experience. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, before we start, I do have a QR code for you guys to sign just so that I can get your email so that I can give you free access to tonight's presentation. And then also give you guys a free consultation call with me, and then also exclusive access to any future resources that come out, including free courses like this one. So if you could scan that QR code, fill it out for me, that would be great. I'll leave it on this screen for a couple minutes just to also give a couple people more time to join. So I'll give it about 3 minutes. At 7:50, I'll go ahead and get started with the rest of this presentation. All right, guys. So for those that just hopped on, I'm actually giving you guys a couple minutes just to scan the QR code and to complete the form. That way I can send you the link to the presentation afterwards. And then it also will include you getting a free consultation call with me, as well as exclusive access to any future resources, including courses like this one. So I'm going to officially get started in about 60 seconds. So I'm trying to give everyone enough time to join in on the call, scan the QR code, put all the information in, and then we can go ahead and get started. All righty. This is the table of contents. I'm honestly not going to dive into this just for the sake of time. So this is more so for those who decide to go back and refer to the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the next slide. So, who am I? My name is India. I am a 22-year-old content creator, entrepreneur, and proud graduate of the illustrious Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. I launched my first business at 14 years old, which is Sinai Simone LLC, which is a handmade hair care brand I started to help with my eczema-prone skin. And then at age 21, I started Honest Creative LLC, it will be the logo that you see at the bottom of the screen throughout the entire presentation. And it's an innovation hub that I built to start or to support creatives and entrepreneurs through marketing gems, digital products, courses, and freelance services. So essentially everything I wish I had when I started Sinai Simone at 14 is what I am kind of fusing into Honest Creative just to be a resource for other like-minded creatives. And so now I am fully embracing my corporate to calling journey through my personal platform, which legally is considered India Sinai LLC, which is my name. And it's essentially a space where I share the real, the raw, unfiltered, the good, the bad, the ugly, in terms of my journey into becoming a purpose-filled life or having and living a purpose-filled life, and also redefining my success on my own terms, as well as motivating others to do the same. So welcome to my world. And again, I'm so happy to be here and so happy to be teaching this course for you guys today. All right, so I guess the big question is, who is this presentation for? So if this is you, you're in the right place. First, if you work a full-time job, if you run a business, you go to school, you're raising a family, and you're still trying to create content, this is for you. If you often feel overwhelmed, unmotivated, or inconsistent with your content, this is for you. If your creativity has plummeted and ideas are becoming few, far in between, you're in the right place. And finally, if you spend entirely too much time recording and editing content that does not perform, this is for you. And I just want to say you are not alone. It happens to the best of us. It happens to me as well. And so that is exactly why I wanted to create this course, just so that I can infuse a couple of things into you guys just based off of my experience and things that have worked for me. So again, welcome to CRCW 250 Creative Clockwork. So I'm going to start off with a little icebreaker. And so I know we have participants on Zoom and we have participants on YouTube Live as well. So I do have YouTube Live up on my iPad, so I will try and monitor the chat if I can. But this icebreaker, just for a couple minutes, I want you to take a moment to think about 1 to 2 things that stress you out about content creation. You can put it in the chat, you can write it down. I just want you to take note of those things. And so I guess to get us started, I'll just mention 2 things for me. So I think for me is balancing content creation with having a business, or having 3 businesses if we're being real. Being able to balance those 3 businesses and the content that I'm creating for each of them is one of my biggest challenges. And then I would say also is not putting too much time into my content. So a lot of the times I'm focused on how can I make the best edit? How can I do the best transitions? How can I add the best animations to my videos? And you'll see as we continue through the presentation that sometimes simple is better. So those are 2 things that I would say stress me out about content creation. Again, I want you to take note of the things that stress you out. And then hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll have some new tips, tricks, and gems that can help you navigate that. All right, so our course objectives, first things first, is to learn how to create consistent content without burning out. The second one is going to be to learn how to incorporate the 3 C's of content creation that I came up with. We will talk about that later, into your content strategy to work smarter and not harder. We love working smarter. We hate working harder. Number 3 is to learn how to batch create repurpose and schedule your content. I feel like this is what most people are excited about. I posted a video on TikTok of me making over 20 pieces of content in one day, one business day at that. So from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, girl, like, how do you do that? And for me, that's like a week's worth of content. But for someone else, that could be a month's worth of content. So I'm going to be dropping all those gems in this course. So be sure to pay attention, take out your pen, paper, put your email in so that I can send you this presentation at the end, because I'm going to be dropping a lot of gems in here, y'all. And then the last one is building a content workflow that fits your lifestyle. So what works for my lifestyle may not work for your lifestyle. So the key to this entire presentation is to do what works for you and not what has worked for someone else. So first things first, what is burnout? So burnout is when you are emotionally and mentally exhausted, and it's oftentimes caused by prolonged stress or overwork. So this can look like you being constantly fatigued. It can look like you avoiding tasks that you once enjoyed. It can even look like you having creative blocks and inconsistencies. And so from personal experience, the best way to prevent burnout is through systems. And the best way to cope with burnout is through self-compassion, which could be, I like to consider it as resting and setting boundaries for yourself. But of course, for the sake of this presentation, we're going to focus on the strategic side, which are the systems that you can put in place to help you stay ahead of burnout before it even starts. So we're going to play a quick little game. And so it's going to be a game of this or that. Like I said, I'm also monitoring the YouTube chat as well. We can't see the presentation slides, still seeing the cam. Okay, let me exit. I hope you guys can see it now in the YouTube chat. Let me know. But we're going to play a game of this or that. And so essentially, I'm going to show you guys a couple of visuals and strictly off. Let me see. Can you guys see it now? Let me see. Can those in the, okay. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna play this or that. And so basically I'm going to show you two pieces of content and I want you to decide which one outperformed the other, strictly based off of visual appeal. So there will be no audio in these videos. So let's go ahead and get started. Some of the videos are really long, so I'm gonna play like maybe 5 to 10 seconds of each video and then let you guys decide, you know, which one outperformed the other. So first we're gonna start off with video A, which is this one on the left. This was a video that I took in Chicago on a boat. So this is video one, pretty simple. And then this is video two. Video two is a series that I started called Day in the Life of a Corporate Dropout. And so this was the vlog that I did for that. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that quick little snippet. So from the two that I showcased, which video do you guys think outperformed the other? Like just based off of visual appeal, which video do you think did the best when posted on social media? And I don't have time to wait, so we're just gonna go ahead and give the answer. The answer is the video of Chicago. So the video of Chicago ended up getting over 500,000 views, whereas the video on the right from my Day in the Life of a Corporate Dropout series received less than 5,000 views. So moving along to the next one. Yeah, someone said video two. Everyone's saying video two. I know, y'all. I'll be thinking the same thing, but that's not the case. All right, so moving on to number two. So this first video is a vlog that I did, a part of my Mad City series where I went to an event with Camille Rose. All right, so I'm gonna stop it there. And then the video on the right is just a video I took when I was doing my hair. just talking about, healthy hair. What does it say? Just because your hair looks healthy doesn't mean it actually is. Learn this the hard way. So between those two videos, which video do you think performed the best on social media? Which one do you think outperformed the other? All right, so everybody's saying video two. So again, well, no, not again. Video two is right. So this video over here, just because your hair looks healthy doesn't mean it actually is. I learned the hard way. Actually got 25,000 views on social media, whereas this video on the left, though so pretty and eloquent in the edits and the transitions, it got less than 5,000 views. So I hope you're kind of catching on to what I'm, throwing out there. Now we're going to do the last video. So the first is a concert vlog that I did when I saw Smino. All right, I'm gonna stop it there. And then the second video is a video that I did with my friend Halana. She's actually in the chat right now. Hey, Halana. Of an event I went to at Palo Santo in Atlanta. So between those two videos, which one do you guys think outperformed the other? Which one do you think did the best? Okay, I'm seeing video A. So actually it was video B. So video B ended up getting around 55,000 views, whereas video A ended up getting less than 5,000 views. So I say all of this to say that everything you post does not have to be high effort content. You'll find oftentimes that the content that you put the least effort into ends up performing the best. So through that exercise, you saw that the content that was the most simple, where it may have taken me 2 minutes to upload and edit, or it may have taken me 10 minutes to edit and upload, outperform the content that took me 2-3 hours to edit and put out there. And so I really wanted to do this exercise with you guys just to show you that sometimes simple is better. And when it comes time for you to start building your systems in terms of the content that you're going to be creating and planning, you want to prioritize the low effort content and then throw in high effort content in between. But again, we'll get into that in a bit. But now let's get into my 3 C's of content creation that will help you work smarter, not harder. So, to no surprise, my 3 C's of content creation, the first one is ChatGPT. So chat is used for content ideas, hooks, captions, repurposing prompts. The next one is going to be Canva. Canva is used for creating templates, carousels, stories, and branded visuals. And then the final one is CapCut, which could be questionable, but that's a conversation in its own, just given their recent transition in their terms and agreements. But it's still the platform that I use on my day-to-day for editing. But it can be used for content templates, transitions, auto captions, trending sounds, and your day-to-day editing. But in that, I also want to give a disclaimer that I put at the bottom. Please remember that these tools are meant to support your creative thinking, not replace it. And when misused, they can become a shortcut that silences your originality instead of amplifying it. I dive way deeper into this on Honest Creative's Instagram and TikTok page, so definitely check that out when you have the time. But I will give an example just so that you guys can visualize it, because I am very much a visual person. So an example would be me saying, hey, ChatGPT, I'm trying to create a series about my life after exiting corporate. Can you give me ideas of what to name that series? ChatGPT would not have given me day in the life of a corporate dropout. I can guarantee you that. Another example is, hey, Chat, I want to create a series for me going around Atlanta and exploring Atlanta. The name that I ended up choosing, or the name I created, is called Mad City, based off of Kendrick Lamar, because y'all know I love music. Everything is basically named off of music for me, as you see with Corporate Dropout, College Dropout with Kanye. Then for Mad City, that came from Kendrick. And then the A in Mad City stands for Atlanta. So that's my series where I go around Atlanta and just explore. And then I also had another series that I named The Art of Storytelling, off of Outkast. ChatGPT is not cultured, guys. And even if you say, hey, Chat, come up with something that's cultured, Chat is not going to get with the program. So that just gives you an example of, hey, don't really rely on chat. Chat can't come up with those types of creative ideas for you. You either have it or you don't, and you should not rely on Chat GPT for that. So that's just an example on how, you still need to leverage your own creative intellect and not rely on these platforms to do it for you. And so I also wanted to be sure to include things to be wary of within each of these platforms. So we're going to start with Chat GPT. Be wary of the chat dash. I'm so sick of seeing it. It's the big dash. I forgot what the dash is called, but it's not a hyphen. It's like the big dash. And it's like, if you look on your keyboard, where is that dash? If you look on your phone, where is that dash? So it's like, how are all these people typing this dash so consistently within their captions and their paragraphs? They're using ChatGPT. So me personally, I'm telling chat, remove all of the dashes out of my text, because that's an easy indicator that you use ChatGPT. Next, the overuse of emojis. I honestly hate using emojis in my captions, but anytime I see a whole bunch of emojis in a caption, in a paragraph, I'm going to guess that ChatGPT wrote whatever it is that you put out there. So just for an example, when I create content and I have captions, I use specific emojis, one of them being the pink bow or the white heart or the black heart or a brown hand. And so ChatGPT is often going to give you yellow emojis, but it's like, why are you having yellow emojis if you're a Black-owned hair care brand or a Black-owned whatever? Or it's like, why are you using all these different emojis? Like, that's just an easy indicator that you use ChatGPT. Another one is capital hashtags. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not capitalizing the I in India and the S in Sinai for my hashtag, or the S in Sinai and the S in Simone for my hashtag. I'm not doing that. My hashtags are going to be all lowercase. And if you input your hashtags into TikTok and Instagram manually, when you select the hashtag, it's going to make it all lowercase. So when you see hashtags that have, the correct capitalization, that's an easy indicator that you use ChatGPT for your caption. Next is going to, of course, be the overly formal verbiage and the non-tone verbiage. So for me, I use ChatGPT to create captions all the time, but it's for my base caption and it's not for what I'm actually going to be posting. I change it a lot because if you know me, I say child, I say babe, I say lovely, I say period, I say a whole bunch of things that chat is just not going to input into my captions. And if it does, it's just not going to sound, within my respective tone. So I definitely suggest editing your captions to sound more like you and to also look like they were not produced off of ChatGPT or any other AI program. Moving along to Canva. Please be wary of premium feature watermarks and distinctive templates. So for me personally, I have Canva Premium, so I have access to a lot more features. But for those that don't have Canva Premium, there will be watermarks on templates, or if you use any elements that are premium, it's going to have a watermark on it. Be wary of that. Also, distinctive templates. So a lot of the times when it's Thanksgiving, when it's any holiday, or even a whole bunch of clubs and organizations when I was in college would use similar templates, like the same exact template, just changing the color, changing the text. You don't want to do that if you're trying to create a specific aesthetic and be known for the aesthetic of your brand. You don't want to just take whatever you find on Canva and just throw your stuff on it. You want to actually customize it. And so that goes back to having the creative intellect to be able to fuse in your own creative ideas into something that has already been created. And honestly, that kind of coincides with CapCut as well. Please be wary of the in-screen watermarks. Now, I am a member of Gen Z, and I will say it hurts my heart every single time I see a millennial or a Gen X leave the CapCut watermark at the end of their video. It takes 2 seconds to remove it out of your video. Please remove it out of your video. That's probably my biggest pet peeve when it comes to CapCut. Second one is going to be distinctive sounds and edits. Me personally, any template that I use out of CapCut, I'm not keeping the same sound that CapCut gave me. I'm changing the sound to something different that I found on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, wherever. Same thing goes for edits. I try to customize any templates that I use, whether it's customizing, adding extra transitions or animations in it, or even changing the fonts to the fonts that I use. I literally attended an influencer event, and the following day when influencers started posting their content for that event, 3 influencers posted the same exact template. because that template was one of the first 10 templates when you search event templates, like event recap templates. I know that because I also searched it, but I ended up editing my own after seeing a million girls use the same template. So it's like when you're a content creator, maybe not specifically for business owners, but when you're a content creator, that's a no-no. You don't want to have content that looks like everyone else's or be using templates consistently. That doesn't mean you can't use them, but that should not be something that you're relying on. Again, you need to have some sort of creative intellect to be able to throw in your own ideas and customize any content that you get from any of these three platforms. So there's a little rundown on the 3 C's of content creation. Next, this is going to kind of set the tone for our purpose, our repurposing section. So I'm going to talk about 2 aspects. First one is going to be your content purpose. So every post should do one of the following, and this is going to help you become more intentional with what you're posting while also maintaining a balanced strategy. I'll explain this a little bit later just to help you visualize it a little bit better. So your post is either going to entertain, so that's going to be posting something funny, relatable, or trending. It's going to inform, which could be something that's educating, sharing tips behind the scenes or relatable journeys. Inspire, which will be to motivate people, posting quotes, transformation stories. It also includes relatable content. And then also the final one is to persuade or sell. So that'd be testimonials, problem solving, branded or call to action driven content. So that could be like if an influencer is partnering with a brand to post content. But notice within each of these that relatable is a common theme, because regardless of whatever it is, like whatever type of content you're posting and whatever the purpose of that content is, your biggest thing should be, how can I relate this form of content to my audience? So please keep that in mind. Next is going to be your content format. So this is going to be the different types of content that you have out there. And I do have examples later on to help you visualize. So first is going to be A-roll. So A-roll is literally like what I'm doing right now, and that's speaking to you. So you prop the camera up and you're speaking directly to the camera. B-roll is going to be when you are, it's more behind the scenes. So I will say right now, I literally, if I turn this around, I have my DJI Osmo Pocket recording B-roll of me right now. And this is honestly like one of the easiest forms of content that you can create. And so next you have carousels. So carousels, you know, is like when you have a post, it has text on it and you're swiping, and it's more than likely something that helps to inform other people. So it could be you doing a step-by-step guide, you providing tips, you doing mini stories or before and afters. Next, you have quotes and graphics. So these are probably the easiest for you to create and post. And then the last one is stories, reels, and lives. I highly suggest you record all of these, or at least save them if you can, so that you can reuse these. And we'll talk more about that in the repurposing section. But I literally was just hired for an event last week, and I was hired to do their social media and do live Instagram recaps and stories. And so I recorded every single story I posted on Instagram on my phone, so that afterwards the brand could use that content to repurpose. So it's like if you just post it straight on Instagram, well, now you don't have it, or you have to go back in Instagram and save it. Now the quality's bad. Record it on your phone and repurpose that content later. And so the description I put at the bottom is to think about what a visual learner wants in school versus a hands-on learner versus an auditory learner, and how they would prefer their content. So, or how they would prefer, you know, learning in school. That's exactly the same thing that happens when you're creating content. Some people do best when you're talking to them straight in the camera. Some people do best when they see a video of you doing your hair and you say, hey, look in the caption for the products. Some people do better when you have a carousel post that says, hey, these are the products I use. Some people do better if you show pictures of the products in a carousel. And some people want to see it on your story or your reels or your lives. So it's like people consume content in so many different ways that you need to make sure that you are being very, what's the word? That you're just touching every aspect of the different types of content that you can create. So now moving into repurposing, I'm going to skip the examples because I actually have live examples to show you guys, and it'll make more sense if you see it visually. So I will start just by talking about why you should repurpose your content. So you should be repurposing your content to save time and energy. by stretching your content and ideas. And then also remember, your audience does not see everything and surely not all at once. So we're going to visualize what that means in these next couple of slides. So here we have a video that I literally just posted a couple days ago from my Beyonce concert. As you can see, there's a lot of transitions, a lot of stuff happening in this video, but I actually took screenshots from this video and used it to make actual posts on my Instagram because I didn't have enough time to do an actual photo shoot where we were taking pictures. So I just used the video shoot, took screenshots of it, and now I'm repurposing that content as reel covers. And then the first one that you see right here, I actually posted it on Instagram, but the remainder of them were reel covers that made my feed look more aesthetic. Another scenario that you could see this in is when YouTubers record their YouTube video and then they pose and say, hey, this is what I want to use as my thumbnail. That's another way for you to repurpose your content so that you're not having to spend time shooting the YouTube video and, taking pictures for your thumbnail. And so I highly suggest, if you're going to do this method, to record your video at 4K, 60 frames per second. Don't ask me what that means. It's just the best, looking video. And take screenshots of that. And then again, use it as content covers or repurpose them as photos. It could be photos in a carousel. It could be photos that you post however you want on your story, whatever it is. But don't sleep on taking pictures out of your videos. If your video is high quality, the pictures will be high quality as well. Next, this is probably the one I do the most, and y'all are probably gonna look at all these videos and be like, India, what's the difference? There's a difference. When the sound was incorporated and the concept, the trend that I use in each of these videos made them very much different. And I also spaced these videos out a lot so that it didn't seem like I was posting the same video back to back to back. So the next one is gonna be when you chop and remix a video. So again, I'm not sure that I can play more than one video. Yeah, I can't play the same video at the same time. The one that's playing right now is just a regular wash day, a quick wash day clip video of me doing my hair. This is using the same clips from that video, but I'm doing the I love challenge. So the challenge that goes, I love, I'm using that with these clips. The next one, bottom left corner, is my dad doing my voiceover of my wash day. This was the video that I posted first. And so it says, my bald head daddy does my voiceover wash day edition. Then the video you see over here was taken from the YouTube video that I recorded. And so again, you see me washing my hair, doing my hair. There's a couple other clips mixed in with that. But this is essentially the one that I do the most. I will take a video clip that I recorded, and 2 months from now, you'll see it in a month recap video, or you might see it 3 months down the line in a video where I'm providing hair tips and saying, hey, here's some tips on why your hair is dry. So basically just taking a video that you recorded months ago or that you recorded today and repurposing it in different ways. But just make sure when you're doing that and as you're repurposing it, that your visuals and your trends and your audio is different, because that's gonna alert the algorithm to not, punish you for posting the same clips. Now, if your video looks the exact same, and if you post the same exact clips within like a week of each other, don't do that. So definitely space it out and make your video look different by incorporating other aspects, whether it's a trend, a sound, or other clips, to make your content feel and look different. Next is same concept, different format. So this is where you're going to take a concept and execute it in different content forms. So that means one of them can be a trendy reel, the other one can be B-roll with text, the other one can be a carousel, the other can be a quote, and the other can be an A-roll sit down. So for this example, I have an A-roll sit down and I have a trendy reel. So this is essentially me talking about my favorite products from my hair care brand. So this video on the right is an A-roll video because I'm literally talking directly to the camera. And it's me doing my series Ask India, and I'm basically just telling them, hey, these are my favorite products. I can't choose one. I love them all. I use them all. This is a trendy reel, same concept, but a different format. And it's saying which of these or which of your hair products do you actually use? And it was using the sound, the count 1, guilty, count 2, guilty, count 3, guilty. And I'm literally walking through all 12 of my, or all 11 of my products. And so both of these videos have the same concept, but they were executed in different ways so they don't seem like they are the same exact video. This is another way for you to repurpose your content. And honestly, this is the most beneficial one in my eyes, or the most efficient one in my eyes, and effective one in my eyes. So I know we've been talking a lot. I know a lot of you probably have questions. Keep your questions. Because now we're about to talk about, okay, India, we know how to repurpose. Okay, we know, all these, the 3 C's. Now, how do I actually, put this into my schedule to be able to batch create my content? I got you. So this is my batch creation system. This is what I abide by when I am batch creating content. Now, do I batch create content every single time I create content? Absolutely not. But on the days where I'm batch creating content, this is the system that I follow. And I break it down into 4 different steps. The first one is going to be to plan. This is probably the most fundamental step because it's really going to set how the rest of your batch day goes. And so during this step, you're going to pull ideas and inspiration from other creators. Now, me personally, I always advise people, this is something you should be doing daily. If you are a content creator or a business owner, you should be spending at least 5 minutes a day just surfing on social media, looking at different ideas, looking at other creators and pulling inspiration from them and saving them into a folder, whether on Instagram or on TikTok or in YouTube, whatever. You can either save it in a folder, you can make a Google document, whatever, Apple Notes, whatever works best for you. You should be saving content ideas daily. Like, you can't expect to be successful within content creation if you're not also consuming and seeing what else is out there. So that should be something that you're doing daily. But you're also going to be asking yourself, how much do you need to record? So are you trying to record a week's worth, a month's worth? How many videos a day? Like, what exactly are you trying to record? Then is there any content you already have in your camera roll? This is honestly a major thing because a lot of the times I'm too lazy to set up my camera and record. So I'm just going to pull content and repurpose it from 5 months ago, or find videos that I haven't posted that I could turn into something and post it there. And honestly, one of my favorite things to do when I don't feel like coming up with a content concept is to record myself, like record one of my YouTube videos or record my laptop and say POV XYZ. Now you have a piece of content that took 2 seconds. So honestly, don't sleep on going through your camera roll and finding something that you already have. Next, create a batch day checklist. So this is also very important. This is going to be where you categorize your content into whatever works best for you. So you could be categorizing it by format and saying, okay, we're going to start off by recording the A-roll content, then I'm going to record B-roll, then I'm going to record the clips that I need for my trendy reels. You could do it by niche. So you can say, okay, I'm going to start off, for me, my niches are beauty, lifestyle, and all things me. So I could say, hey, I'm going to start off recording my beauty content. Then we're going to go into my lifestyle content. You could do by location. So I could say, hey, I'm starting off recording in the bathroom. Then I'm going to record in the kitchen, then in my bedroom. Then I'm going to go outside, whatever works best for you. And then sometimes I'll also do it by effort or time required. So if there's something that's really quick for me to record, I'm going to do whatever's quickest first. And then you'll see that as well in the edit section. But this is going to set the foundation for your batch content creation day. Then step 2 is going to be to actually record the content. So you're going to record your content in the order of your checklist. I typically categorize by content type and or location. And then from there, I complete in the order of quickest to longest. So whatever takes the quickest to record versus whatever takes the longest to record. And I will add, if I'm recording a YouTube video, it's not going to be on the same day as my batch creation day unless I don't have a lot to batch create, because my YouTube videos take at least 40 minutes to record. So often I'll do those on like a different day. But yeah, so that's how you're going to edit. Your editing, or I mean, your recording day is literally just going to be you doing everything that you said you were going to do in your planning stage. Which is why your planning stage is so important, because if you plan it correctly, the recording will not take that long. And this is coming from someone who did over 20 pieces of content in a day. Next is going to be to edit. So I always tell people, always edit whatever is easiest and or going live first. This is also when you will start constructing any carousel posts and editing any photos that you have. So you should not be constructing your carousel posts or any photos unless you're taking the pictures during your recording day. That's all going to be on your editing day. And oftentimes I start with carousel posts because it's just a quick, hey, ChatGPT, can you help me with this? And hey, going to Canva and then inputting this. Those are typically quick. So I typically start with my carousel post on my editing day and then go into actually editing, like my reels and my content. Then also remember on your editing day, please take breaks and edit in chunks. Don't try and edit everything at once. That's gonna lead to burnout. And sometimes I split this into more than one day. So it honestly depends on how much content you need to edit and what your schedule looks like in terms of if you can split your editing days up. But that's what editing is going to look like. And then step 4 is going to be scheduling. So this is going to be when you and ChatGPT are coming up with captions, perfecting your hooks, your hashtags, and scheduling your contents in app. And then schedule whatever has been edited. So if you decide to split your editing into 2 days, then after editing day 1, you should be scheduling. And then after editing day 2, you schedule that content. So if you're editing in batches, you need to also schedule in batches. And then a lot of people don't know, you can schedule on Instagram, you can schedule on YouTube. I don't use Facebook, but if you can schedule on Instagram, you can also schedule on Facebook, and you can also schedule on TikTok as well. You just need the TikTok Creator Studio app. A lot of people don't know that. So just throwing that in there for those that don't know. Now, we're going to go into a couple of takeaways because I know we only have about 10, 15, 20 minutes left. So these are a couple of things to ask yourself and to remember as you're kind of going through the loops on everything. Make sure I have the YouTube popped up. So first things first, know your audience. So what type of value are you providing to your audience? Understand that every post should not do the same thing. So if you are a business owner, you should not be sell, 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 sell. You need to mix that sell, sell, sell with entertaining people, with informing people, with providing motivational quotes. You should be providing a mixture of things because people don't just want to see, hey, buy my product, hey, buy my product, hey, buy my product. And if you're a content creator, same thing. And that honestly goes with the type of content that you're posting. You shouldn't just be posting day in the lives because we saw that day in the life. So what's the difference? So you should be mixing in those days in the lives with other types of content. So just knowing how to have balance between your content formats and your content purpose as well. Next, reclaiming your time. So what type of content takes the most time and effort out of you? This should be something that you should be asking yourself and reevaluating the content that you've already posted. What type of content do I post and edit easily? What type of content takes me the most time to create? And from that, prioritize your low effort content and slowly sprinkle in high effort content. Do this at your own speed. But remember to start small and work your way up. So for example, I know for me, I have 1 million videos in my camera roll. I probably have about 50,000 something videos. Let's see. I have a lot of videos. I have 11.7 thousand videos, 17.4 thousand selfies, 27.7 thousand live photos. I mean, that alone, I can make so many pieces of content out of that. I could probably make a month's worth of content out of just what's already in my camera roll. So that just goes to say, please prioritize low effort content before you start throwing in high effort content. So if you know that your days are busy, you should not be saying, hey, I need to put a vlog up this week. Do you have time to record a vlog? Look and see what you already have and, start with that. And then as you start mastering and perfecting being able to edit and upload low effort content, then you can say, okay, I'm going to do 1 piece of high effort content a week, or I'm going to do 2 pieces of high effort content a week. So start low and then work your way up. Next, you need to understand what your off days are from work. Whatever your off days are, I suggest using those days to record and edit your content, which is step 1 and step 3 of my batch system. Then ask yourself, how much downtime do I have? So your downtime is going to be the time on the days you do work where you're not working. So like if you have a 9 to 5, you're 5 to 9 or until you go to sleep. That's going to be where I suggest you plan and schedule your content. But again, it's up to you, but I'm just saying that's what works for me, is doing the planning and the scheduling on days where I do work and doing the recording and the editing on days where I don't work. And then I also put in that doing multiple steps in the same day without a break can also lead to burnout. Speaking from personal experience, so I highly suggest if you are going to do my batch system, if you can give each of them their own day, I suggest doing that. If not, just please be strategic in how you are grouping them, because doing recording and editing in the same day, that's a lot, and that's going to lead to burnout. So you definitely want to space them out if you can. And then I also put the less downtime and off days you have, the less you should be posting starting out. So if you don't have a lot of free time, then you should not be setting the expectation of, hey, I'm posting 5 videos a day. That's not realistic. So you should be setting content goals based on your actual availability. And then as you start becoming an expert at that, then you can start increasing. So please do not pay attention to the people that say, hey, you need to post this many pieces of content a day if you want to be successful. That might be true for them, but if you don't have time to post that content, then you shouldn't even, like, is it even an option for you if you don't even have the time to post that much? So yeah, those are some things to think about. Then another slide with more things to think about. Please go at your own pace. So you need to ask yourself, how far in advance do you want to create content? Me personally, I prefer batching a week at a time. Due to trend changes and impulsive ideas, I tried batching a month in advance, and I often found myself substituting content for new things that I found, that week or that day. So I typically do a week in advance because it allows me to continuously check in on trends and say, hey, I want to change this up. So me personally, that's what I do. Next, how often do you want to post and how much content do you need for that specific time frame? So if I'm posting a week and I'm saying, hey, I need to post 3 times for Sinai Simone, I need to post 4 times for Honest, I need to post 4 times for myself, that's 11 pieces of content that I need for 1 week. So just make sure you're doing the mental math and whatever that is for you. And like I said before, I always tell people to aim low, and then once you're consistent with that, then increase. Because if you're starting out with high goals and then now you're not consistent, well, now the algorithm doesn't think that you're on the platform anymore. And now that's just a whole new issue in itself. So you want to start off with something that you can actually maintain. Then ask yourself, how can you split whatever content you need? So if I need 11 pieces of content, how many do I want to be low effort? How many do I want to be high effort? And then how many do I want to inform versus entertain? So how many carousels, how many A rolls, how many B rolls, how many are going to be funny videos, how many are going to be inspirational? So from there, you're basically just continuously breaking it down into, okay, I need this many of this type of content, this many of this type of content. Then at the end, I put prioritizing one platform can help you avoid burnout. Also, speaking from experience, I've noticed that when I prioritize YouTube, my short form content on TikTok and Instagram becomes inconsistent. And when I prioritize Instagram and TikTok, my long form YouTube videos are inconsistent. So if you are someone that is trying to actively grow your platform, prioritizing one might be beneficial for you. I'm not telling you that that's the only way for you to grow. I'm just saying that putting, more time and effort into growing that platform might be more beneficial in terms of you being able to maintain a consistent schedule. And the last thing I put is don't overthink, because you probably have a month's plus worth of content sitting in your camera roll right now. I'm sure you have at least 5 to 10 videos in your camera roll right now. One of them might be you cooking, one might be you at an event, one might be you outside somewhere. That could be a B-roll video that you put a motivational quote on top of. That could be a video, say if you're doing your hair, put, hey, these are my favorite, the best hair care products are linked in the description, and put that on top of the screen. Like, you just got to start thinking of different ways to create content that's more low effort, instead of, hey, I have to sit down and I have to edit this and I have to use CapCut and find a template and input all these videos and pictures. Sometimes all you need is one video, slap some text on top, or even you saw the Chicago video got over 500,000 views and there was no text on that. Sometimes you don't need all of that. So just don't overthink what, it takes to actually make content that's going to perform and provide value to your audience. So that's moving us into our homework section. We are almost done. So first things first, I want everyone in here to establish a schedule. So how many posts per week are you trying to create? What are each of those posts purpose and format? So is it to entertain? Is it to inform? Is it to persuade or sell? Is it going to be A roll, B roll? Is it going to be a trend? Is it going to be a quote, a carousel? And then also, when will you plan, record, edit, and schedule? So take a look at your own schedule and say, hey, I don't work on these days, so I'm going to record on this day. I'm going to edit on this day. Hey, I have an extra 2 hours on this day, so I'm going to plan on this day, and then I'm going to schedule on this day. So evaluate your schedule and start finding time to fit in content creation in there. Next, I want you guys to start repurposing what you already have. So you're going to go through your entire camera roll and pull clips that you could use to make content. And then I also suggest making folders to organize your thoughts. So you can organize those folders however you wish. But some examples could be saying, hey, this is a folder that I'm going to put videos that could be used for B-roll content. So that's going to be videos where you can just slap text on top, and it's basically giving like behind the scenes energy. I'm going to put videos that I could use in a trendy reel. So a video that I could use in a recap for my travel content, or a recap of all my hair content, or a recap of my makeup content. Put all those videos in one folder. Then it could also be niche specific. So you can say, hey, here are some beauty videos. Here are some lifestyle videos. Here are some wellness videos. Once you categorize that, it's a lot easier to say, hey, I don't have time to come up with a concept today, but I have a folder that has a whole bunch of beauty content. I'm just going to take one of those videos, slap some text on top, or put a sound on top and post it. So yeah, look through your camera roll, start creating some folders, and see what you can use to repurpose. And then the last task I have for you guys is to use chat, but don't let chat use you. Emphasis on don't let chat use you. So I want you guys to start organizing your thoughts and ideas into a schedule and calendar. This could literally be you saying, hey, chat, I have this day open and this day open. Can you turn this into a calendar for me? Or, hey, chat, these are the content ideas that I want to create. Can you build out my checklist for me? Or, hey, chat, I have this post, but I need a caption. Or, hey, chat, I have this post, but I need a hook. Use chat to your advantage, but also in that, make sure whatever it is that chat is giving you, that you're customizing it to your own voice and you're switching it up so that it doesn't sound like it was generated by AI. And that brings us to the end. So make sure you guys scan this QR code. This is the same QR code that I had at the beginning. So when you scan it, it's going to take you to a form. Complete that form. If you guys have issues with that form, let me know. But complete that form, and then I will actually send you guys this presentation. And then also, if you guys would like to have a free consultation with me, it is included. You can click that option on there as well. And then we can honestly dive into anything within this presentation that is needed, or I can see if there's any ways that I can be of service to you, or if there are any services that I have or products that I have that could be beneficial for you. And then also you'll be notified of any other future courses or future resources and guides that I have. So definitely be sure to scan this QR code. I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds for any last minute people to scan. And then also just wanted to give a quick thank you to LaShana and Pop-Up Create for curating this event. And then also just letting you guys know, this is not the first event. This is not the last event. There are multiple events and courses that are happening. So be sure to stay tuned for the next course because you certainly do not want to miss it. And then I have the remaining, 8 minutes for any questions that anyone has. I know a lot of information was discussed. I was trying to fit something that I could talk about for 10 hours into less than 1 hour. So I know some might be a little overstimulated, but that's why I definitely wanted to be able to provide a free consultation to you guys. So I will give a couple minutes in case anyone has any questions. And then if not, you guys are good to go. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys learned a lot. I'll definitely be sending out the presentation by the end of this week. So definitely be sure to scan that QR code. And if you guys didn't get the QR code, definitely connect with me on social media. Just send me a message, say, hey, India, I didn't get the QR code. Can you send me the form? And I'll be more than happy to send it to you. But that is all. So thank you guys so much for coming.